Hello everybody, and welcome back to Fossil Frenzy. I do apologize for the delay, but I promise we actually have quite a few episodes ready to film. Now, for our first episode of our channel's new year, I figured we would do a type of video that we haven't in a while, and that being comparing Hollywood to the fossil record. But of course, where do we start? Well, there was that oversized and time-traveling Fairview from 65, but I don't think that's quite big enough to kick off our year with. But luckily, Hollywood has served up a much larger beast, that being the Megalodon from Meg 2. Quite literally, this thing dwarfs both the Fairview but also our last topic of the Jurassic World Dominion, Giganotosaurus. Also, real quick disclaimer, what I say about the Megalodon design in the video has no bearings on how I feel about the film. I guess I didn't make that too clear on the Giganotosaurus video, but here I have read the Meg series, got to see the advanced screening of the first film with our buddy Jeremy, and we both enjoyed it. And we even got to interview author Steve Alton on our channel, which was a super fun interview. Make sure to check it out if you haven't. Now on to our topic of Megalodon. Megalodon has a fun history as far as its taxonomy is concerned. At one point, the trademark triangle teeth of the shark were actually thought to be petrified tongues of dragons, or so the story goes. As for Megalodon, it received its name Carcharodon megalodon in 1843. And this is kind of where the genus naming fun begins. See, back in an 1837 paper, the name Carcharodus megalodon had actually been used. But the genus Carcharodon reflected the idea that Megalodon was the ancestor of the modern great white shark, Carcharodon carcharodus, due to the similarity in the shape of the teeth. But today, Megalodon is actually considered part of the family Otodontidae, with its scientific name being Otodus Megalodon. And the similar-looking teeth turned out to actually just be convergent evolution and actually have some pretty significant differences, including thickness, even if scaled to the same size and spacing of serrations, and most noticeably, the shape and size of the scarring near the root. Now, with big teeth, one's next question is, how big is a shark with 7-inch long teeth? This is actually the tougher question due to the fact shark skeletons are made up of cartilage, as well as where Megalodon would have actually fallen on the family tree, and which sharks would actually be good comparisons. Luckily, recent papers have included studies on the size of these massive sharks, and surprisingly, the size is pretty consistent no matter the method. The 2022 paper, The Extinct Shark Otodus Megalodon was a transoceanic superpredator, Inferences from 3D Modeling, by Jack A. Cooper, John R. Hutchinson, and Catalina Pimento, gave total lengths of 14 to 18 meters with a maximum of 20 meters. A previous 2020 paper, Body Dimensions of the Extinct Giant Shark Otodus Megalodon, a 2D reconstruction by Jack A. Cooper, Catalina Pimento, and Michael J. Benton, showcased a 16-meter shark. Some other studies have given lengths of 18 meters. So with all these recent studies combined, it seems like the average Megalodon would be about 10 meters long, with bigger Megalodons reaching at least 16 meters. But before this becomes our official species video on Megalodon, something we will definitely have to come back to at a later point, let's get back to topic. How did Meg 2 turn animal to kaiju monster? I think the scene that best showcases this is not the Joker smile Meg, which, quick side note, why does Hollywood keep giving the Joker style scars to the big bad, as previously the Jurassic World Dominion Giganotosaurus had them too? No, the scene that showcases the Meg's true kaiju form is a scene where the Meg eats a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which you have to feel like the Rex hates time travel. Be resurrected in the future and you're killed by a Spinosaurus. Hang out in Hell Creek and you're killed by a time-traveling Giganotosaurus. Now try to have a vacation at the beach and you're killed by a time-traveling Megalodon. Like, what did the Rex do to incur such fates? Anyhow, yes, Megalodon and T-Rex did not live at the same time. Tyrannosaurus walked the earth between 68 and 66 million years ago, while Megalodon swam our oceans between 23 and 3.6 million years ago. Like I said earlier, I have read the book, so I do know this is a scene lifted straight from Book 1, a novel of deep terror, and that the franchise is taking the Lost World route of putting a scene in the second movie from the original book. And also, don't get me wrong, I actually really appreciate the design of the Meg. A lot of the times, movies just make a super large great white shark, or in some cases, superimpose stock footage of a great white shark. As briefly talked about earlier, the Megalodon and white shark weren't actually super closely related. Based off of that and other findings, it wouldn't just look like a great white on steroids. In a future episode, I'll go into my reconstruction here and how I got to this design. So the basic design I'm actually pretty okay with. It's not perfect, but it is a whole lot better than a giant white shark. So that leaves one attribute to discuss, and this one gives it the Kaiju label: size. This Megalodon is massive. I mean, even back when I drew this scene in the early 2000s, I felt like I had made the shark too big. But wow, this Kaiju dwarfs even mine. First off, how big is that T-Rex? The average adult specimen we have is close to the size of AMNH 5027, or just under 12 meters long. This being Hollywood, this isn't just going to be an average sized T-Rex, but it'll be the absolute biggest. So roughly 13 to 14 meters. So now based off of this scene, where the Meg makes an easy meal out of it, we can roughly gauge the size of the shark. Right at this point, where the shark slips back to the depths, the whole length of the Rex reaches the gills. Granted, perhaps the first 15 to 25% of the Rex is in the jaws of the shark. Going off this, we know the shark is at least more than double the length of the dinosaur, so already 28 to 30 meters or 91 to 98 feet long. So honestly, I would actually say it's probably in the range of 36 to 40 meters or 120 to 131 feet long. Clearly much larger than any real Megalodon, and truly a Kaiju-sized shark. But let us know, how big do you think the prehistoric Megalodon is in the Meg 2? Let us know if you have plans to see the film, or if you already have, what did you think of it? As I said earlier, the inaccuracies of the scene / film aren't going to stop me from seeing the movie. I've read the books and I'm interested to see how they translate them. But until next time, guys, we hope you enjoyed our latest Fossil Frenzy episode, and we'll be doing a lot more in depth on actual specimens and actual species. So for more of those in-depth episodes, make sure to click the link to your left. For more from us here at Culz Paranormal, including a panel discussing the UFO congressional hearings, click that link to your right. And don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, what book in the Meg series was your favorite?